All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you today. And when I mean I got a whole bunch, I got a whole bunch. And I could have actually gotten a lot more than this, but for time's sake, I kind of narrowed it down to the good stuff. I don't know. The first thing I want to talk about is that Elon Musk thinks the Bitcoin hodlers deserve a Nobel Prize. Oh, Elon Musk, you're so cool. But either way, good news for Bitcoin, I suppose, and kind of funny. It was kind of a joke, but still, maybe Satoshi should get a Nobel Prize. But how do you give an anonymous person a Nobel Prize? Has that ever happened before? I don't know. Either way, maybe it should be, because it is quite revolutionary. So Musk says, I still have only 0.25 Bitcoin and no altcoin. So following coverage of his describing Bitcoin as a brilliant in the podcast from ARK, Invest earlier this week, Musk tweeted that despite his enthusiasm, he had marginal amounts of the cryptocurrency. And again, I don't really blame a billionaire for not having a lot of it. I still only own 0.25 Bitcoin, which is a friend of mine sent me years ago. Don't have any crypto hodlings, he wrote. The balance remains unchanged despite previous Bitcoin applause from the Tesla mogul, who had already mentioned the gift in previous interviews. His comments nonetheless swiftly attracted major attention, coming in light of an effort to make Musk participate in Bitcoin's Lightning Network and the more specifically the Bitcoin Lightning Torch on Twitter. As Bitcoin has reported, the Lightning Torch transaction relay underway since January aims to increase awareness of a zero-fee instant Bitcoin payment for customers, or for consumers. And the project has seen high-profile participation and ongoing advocacy from Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey. At the same time, CZ, CEO of cryptocurrency exchange Binance, followed up on Musk's latest comments with an offer to purchase a Tesla for Bitcoin. He says, I don't have much of a Tesla. Let's trade some. I don't have much of a Tesla. Oh, CZ, you and your Chinese grammar. That's always so fun. On the subject of Bitcoin's potential, Musk has remained restrained compared to Dorsey, adding only that early buyers deserve a Nobel Prize in delayed gratification. He says, whoever owns the early BTC deserves a Nobel Prize in delayed gratification. So it's kind of a joke on his point, on his part, but you know what? I kind of actually agree. I'm not sure about like all early, Bitcoin hodlers. I don't know about that so much, but I think Satoshi should be given like an anonymous Nobel Prize, whoever it was or whatever group created it, because there's all kinds of Nobel Prizes for economists and for scientists and stuff, and it is quite the revolutionary coin, and nobody else really thought of it. There was some coins before that with proof of work, but nobody could really get past the 51% attack problem, and that's what Bitcoin overcame, along with many other things as well. So it was the first of its kind in that way, but in some other ways it was not the first of its kind, but in terms of actual practice and use, and its use case, and actually going forward with it instead of just sort of proposing it and not really working so good on test nets, etc. So, moving on here, miners disagree with JP Morgan over Bitcoin's $2,400 fair value. Oh, JP Morgan. So, in the report, JP Morgan analyst claims that the average cash cost of a low Chinese miner was around $2,400 a month. With this, they suggested is the break-even point, the marginal cost of producing one Bitcoin, with Bitcoin currently hovering around 4,000. That represents a price drop of 40% before achieving their fair value. This actually seemed like progress from the previous day when JP Morgan analysts claimed Bitcoin only had value in a dystopian environment, unless the suggestion is that we are already living in a dystopian environment. Maybe we are. Anyway, miners argued that the design of Bitcoin means that the very concept of an average marginal cost was flawed. The co-founder of mining hardware developer Lutek explained that there could be no average cost or break-even point. With a finite supply of around 1,800 Bitcoin per day, a miner can only get a bigger share of that relative to other miners. So there will always be miners seeking to create blocks and get Bitcoin rewards, so as long as they can operate with power-efficient hardware at low electricity cost. When Bitcoin price falls, the cost of mining a Bitcoin will also fall, as miners with more expensive operations will be the one to exit the market first. This leaves room for more market share and profitability to lower-cost miners. So perhaps JP Morgan are unhappy with the statistic that they hold 200 times more customer deposit value than the top 5 currencies combined. A Bitcoin price of 2,400 would increase this to over 300 times the value, even if the exchange's holding were spread evenly across all available tokens. The fact that the majority of tokens held by the exchanges are Bitcoin would make this gap even wider. So clearly, they don't really understand Bitcoin so much. Just because it's 2,400 break even in China doesn't necessarily mean that that's just what Bitcoin should be. There is supply and demand, and of course that was just thrown right out. That's like investing 101, supply and demand. Just throw that right out the window. It should be $2,400 and never move. That just doesn't make any sense. And if it's $2,400 and should never move, then why should it even be considered $2,400? Why wouldn't we just, make a Snickers bar cost 2 Satoshi and this much cost this much? So I think there should be a movement, and I think there will be a movement sometime in the future, whether it's, months from now or years from now or a decade from now. I think there will be a movement, and I think somebody will perpetuate it. And I've always actually thought of making videos on that we should make a movement where we remove the US dollar valuation from Bitcoin. And if you're a shop owner and you have all these products lined up in your shop or whatever, take away that dollar value from it. Just reinvent what these things cost, which is hard to do because, of course, you have to buy them in US dollar and then sell them for Bitcoin, etc. But we should remove that U.S. dollar valuation and say, okay, this item in my store costs 2,000 Satoshi. This item costs just 10 Satoshi. This item costs 10,000 Satoshi, et cetera, which is, I know, not much, currently to the U.S. dollar. But when Bitcoin becomes even bigger and bigger and bigger, eventually, is it really going to matter what the US dollar valuation is? Because if you sold it and then it just increased more, then the Bitcoin dominance around the world might get even bigger and bigger. And, your US dollar or your euro might be worthless, especially if inflation continues on. And you'll have to just value things in Satoshi. And so eventually, I think, it might even be a decade that we will essentially just drop how much this item costs in US dollar, and we need to match that with Bitcoin. Instead, we're just going to make up Bitcoin values for things, and it'll kind of start to get universally adopted. If this product costs this much now, we'll start to evaluate it in Satoshi, and it'll always be that Satoshi, because once the US dollar is stripped from it, then you're just left with Satoshi. And now one Satoshi, or 10,000 Satoshi now might be what, like 30 cents or something like that. But later on, if you strip that from there, that 10,000 Satoshi is just 10,000 Satoshi. Remember, guys, 1 Doge equals 1 Doge. Think about it. So the Samsung S10 is confirmed. There are ads everywhere on YouTube. If you haven't seen them already, you're living under a rock, or you finally managed to escape the YouTube advertisements, and you're living your life not in front of a screen like I do. But anyway, they're all over the place. So S10 is coming out. There's an S10e, the S10, and then the S10 Plus, and then there's also the folding phone, which costs $1,980 for a folding phone, which I think in just a few years, those will all be regularly priced at $700, $800 like a new phone is now. But just because it's new, they're like, let's do $1,500, and then somebody else is like, no. I bet we can get away with $1,980, just like Nvidia did with the 2080 Ti. They're like $1,300. They're like, what in God's name do we need to sell it for $1,300 for? And they're just like, cause crypto. But anyway. So the rumors are confirmed. In January, Bitcoin has reported, a leaked Samsung Galaxy S10 images displaying an app called Samsung Blockchain Key Store, which I did put on my channel. Less than a month later, following what's easily the most anticipated tech events of the year, Samsung has officially confirmed that their new flagship phone, the Galaxy S10, will contain dedicated storage for crypto private keys. It was somewhat expected, though, that the rumors would turn out to be true, given the history of the field of blockchain. Samsung filed 3 trademark applications in the EU, one for Blockchain Key Store, one for Blockchain Core, and one for Blockchain Keybox. An official press release detailed the characteristics of the flagship phone, outlining that it has hardware-backed secure storage, which will house users' private keys. Now, I don't know about this one. I know, me, personally, I will never store my private keys on a phone, but who knows, maybe this is actually really good. I'm going to just warn everybody, probably not good to store your private keys on a phone. I'm just going to throw that out there now. I can't wait. Actually, you know what? I don't want to. But I know 6-8 months from now on my channel, you're going to see Samsung Galaxy S10 key storage has been hacked. That's going to be the title. That's probably going to be the title. Let me just call that 8 months from now. That's going to be the title. Galaxy S10 is built with defense-grade Samsung Knox. What is defense-grade? I don't know what that means. They just made that up, so I'm just reading. As well as secure storage backed by hardware, which houses your private keys for blockchain-enabled mobile services. So it's a multi-layered platform built into the software and hardware of the latest Samsung devices. It's supposed to constantly verify the integrity of the device by conducting numerous security checks that both between the hardware and the OS level. In other words, the isolated hardware chip essentially makes it similar to having a hardware wallet inside the phone. Well, great. That's all good. Again, I'm going to be reading articles soon, in about 3 months, that says that shows how you can hack a Samsung S10 hardware in order to steal private keys. Then 5 months later, it's going to be someone was hacked for $2 million because they stored it on their phone. Please don't store your keys on the phone. I know maybe it's amazing. I don't know from firsthand. I don't have an S10. I don't think anybody does. Are they even? Can you even buy them right now? I don't know. Either way, they're coming soon, if not already out. Probably should have researched that first. But you get what I'm saying. Don't do that. I'm telling you, somebody's going to get hacked real bad, and it's going to be their fault for not just like putting them on a hardware device or a USB drive or on a piece of paper and putting it in a safe like you probably should. But anyway, moving on. That's pretty cool, I guess, for Bitcoin and the crypto world in general. But again, I'm just calling it now. I know it's going to happen. So FBI launches questionnaire for BitConnect victims. Are you a BitConnect victim? You should probably go answer this questionnaire. I don't know if it's actually going to help you, but just do it. If you were the victim of BitConnect, which is, again, kind of your own fault if you invested into it in the same way that I've invested into a couple things and not necessarily gotten my money out of it. But let's just say if you did, it might be your fault, but still answer the questionnaire anyway, because it wasn't your fault that it was a scam. But you guys get what I'm saying there. I'm in between a rock and a hard place. The FBI has called out to victims of BitConnect, setting up a questionnaire for people affected by the crypto lending scheme that went bust in January 2018. The agency said the information collected would help in federal cases against what turned out to be a Ponzi scheme. Oh, did it turn out to be a Ponzi scheme? I didn't know that. In 2018, all existing cases that targeted BitConnect were consolidated in a class action lawsuit spearheaded by Silver Miller. However, the involvement of the FBI could signal the first criminal investigation against the project. The questionnaire also explores the way BitConnect messages spread, with YouTube signaled out to be one of the most powerful channels for outreach. You think so? There was like people with like 18 views and like 2 subscribers on YouTube making YouTube videos, like feudally making YouTube videos. They had no idea how to make YouTube videos or network or anything in any way, shape, or form. But they're like, you know what? If I could just get one sign up, I'll be good to go. So the questionnaire, additionally anyway, BitConnect aggressively sold its coins through a referral marketing scheme as well as in-person agent sales. The system was active in multiple Asian countries, but also in the U.S. So far, Silver Miller has outlined the chief risks that made BitConnect a widely known and appealing scheme. The network, based on its own blockchain, used YouTube for promotion, and the law firm is called the social media as a defendant. The scheme could easily remain solvent while the price of Bitcoin was climbing. However, after Bitcoin crashed in 2018, BitConnect folded, and the value of its tokens plunged from over $500 to just a few dollars to what's now, I think, even less. So BitConnect has so far failed to relaunch, as the BitConnect X initial coin offering also vanished without a trace. Anybody that bought BitConnect, okay, I gotta stop. We gotta hit the pause button. We gotta hit the pause button. Hit the pause button. Thanks. That's my team of 20 people that work just 24/7 on my show, because it's just so huge. It's just so huge. I know I just get like 4 million views, and it's just way too much to handle, so I have to have 20 people. Let's pause this. Let's say you invested in BitConnect, and you lost all your money. Unfortunate, right? Then, weeks later, they said that they were going to make a new system called BitConnect X and offered an ICO, and people literally bought into it. I think 9 out of 10 of the people that bought into it knew that it was going to be another scam, but they thought that maybe they could make some money and get out of it real fast. But if you did that, Again, I got these little crescent wrenches. And I'm just gonna double swing. Whammy wham! This one's smaller, right? So you get hit by the small one first, right? So you think, okay, that wasn't so bad, then bam! You get hit by the one that weighs like I don't know, 6-7 ounces more. Okay, so you're gonna take a thunderous double blow to your head. And it's just for your own good. It's okay. It's okay, guys. What's this tweet? What is this tweet that they linked? Oh, BitConnect. Oh, wow. Trevon James linking BitConnect. That's great. Good for you. Anyway, so yeah, so, you know, going to the FBI site, I don't know where it is. Let me see. Oh, you can actually click on this link right here. I'll put this link in the description below. I'll keep this up. I'll put that in the link below. Seeking potential victims in BitConnect investigation. So you guys can fill out this brief questionnaire if you want, if you have the time or you just feel like it, I guess. And you can help the FBI maybe, and then maybe possibly get your money back, or at the very least, you know, solve a crime and put somebody in jail. Maybe you'll never get your money back, but at least you can at least you can have the nice feeling that somebody went to prison for it. So affected Quadriga CX traders receive approval for legal representation. Traders and depositors affected by the closing of Quadriga CX have received court approval for legal representation. The legal teams of Miller, Thompson, Cox, and Palmer will jointly act on behalf of the estimated 115,000 users. Quadriga CX was granted protection from creditors for 1 month starting from February 5th. The plaintiffs are looking to prevent an extension to the protection period. The two law firms have offered capped legal counsel at $250,000, and former traders will have to pay the expenses out of pocket. The losses of the defunct exchange exceed $145 million, and while cash reserves may be accessed, the lost coins and tokens remain undiscovered. So that is going along through. So if you have a lot of coin on Quadriga, I would contact this legal team, whatever it is, Miller, Thompson, Cox. Let me click on this as well. You know what? I'm gonna put that in there as well. This is MillerThompson.com, so you can get a hold of these people and try to get some of your money back. I'm not sure if they, you know, how they represent anybody. Users affected by the Quadriga case are invited to contact the counsel at this email address here. So, you know what? This is going into the description below as well. So there's going to be the FBI thing for anybody that got affected by BitConnect, and then there's going to be this for anybody affected by Quadriga CX. So there you go, guys. So a little bit more news on Quadriga. Transfers remaining crypto to Big Four auditor Ernst & Young. So Canada's now offline Quadriga CX crypto exchange has sent its remaining crypto assets that aren't in the cold wallet that they just can't access, which nobody even knows what they are or what the public keys are, so we can't even look at them. This is just one of the biggest messes I've ever seen. You know, I can't even tell which is worse. This one from Quadriga, which has this unbelievable story of death, or Cryptopia that literally lost every single one of their private keys all at once, and then were deleted and stolen by hackers. So now that they control all of the accounts of it, like, that's horrible. That's the worst. Anyway, so according to EY's second report of the monitor, Quadriga CX transferred almost all of its online crypto to the auditor February 14th. The transferred amount include 51 Bitcoin, 952 Ethereum, 822 Litecoin, 33 Bitcoin Cash, 2,033 Bitcoin Gold, some worth only a paltry $410,000 at press time compared to the like 145 missing, or 190. It fluctuates literally every time I read an article. So somewhere around there. As the new report reads, EY will be responsible for holding the funds in its own cold storage pending a further account. Hopefully, there's more than one person with the private keys to that cold storage at EY. Wouldn't that just be the funniest thing in the world? I'm sorry, I wouldn't want anybody to lose any more money. I do apologize, but I would just chuckle if, like, if they lost their private keys to this cold storage. I'm sure they're not going to, but like, what deep irony would that be? EY also provided an update on post-filing bank arrangements and the deposit of certain funds in the account for post-receipts and disbursements. According to the document, there are 3 immediate sources of funds available to Quadriga to fund the proceedings. $18 million in the bank, drafts possessed by the payment operator custodian, $4.39 million, and bank drafts held by law firm, etc. So we're not going to read the rest of it. It's just it goes on a little bit, but they lost about 145 million. It used to be 190 million, then it was like 180 million. So again, it literally changes every time I read a new article, but it's somewhere around there. Again, once again. So, you know, the remaining assets that they have in the hot wallets are being transferred now, instead of just being giving back to the people, because how do you know, you'd have to give back to some people, but not all people would receive. So that's super unfair, so they have to work this out in a way. There are lawsuits going on right now, and I would get a part of that. If you lost a lot of money in Quadriga, you really should contact this law firm. I don't know how it works. I don't know how much your money you're going to get back. I don't know if you have to pay this law firm to represent you. I would just at least make an inquiry to this law firm to see. Because I have several people on my channel comment, and of course I can never validate these comments of people, but some people say they lost 9,000, some people they lost tens of thousands of dollars, some people say they lost their whole life savings on this Quadriga case. I would get a hold of this law firm. Again, the email is right at the bottom here. I'm going to put both of these links in the description. Unfortunately, this FBI thing probably won't help you out if you were a BitConnect victim immediately. Maybe not ever, but you might help somebody go to jail, because they're going to ask you how you lost this money and who you lost it to, and everybody's probably going to put Trevon James on there. So that's not going to be good for him. Moving on to CoinMarketCap here. We're at 133 billion, so we've lost a couple billion. You can see things are kind of starting to go down a little bit. Interestingly, though, Bitcoin dominance went up a few tenths of a percent. And that just means these altcoins, after their sort of explosive rise, have gone down disproportionately to Bitcoin, which is usually the case. So Bitcoin dominance still pretty high, not as high as the 53 or 54% that we are accustomed to seeing when there is a big dip like this. But usually these coins rise and fall disproportionately to Bitcoin, and that's nothing new. So everything is red today. We can take a look at the winner of the day, Cash. That's a clear pump. VeChain is looking pretty all right. Sia Coin doing all right as well. The losers of the day, Komodo, Factom, etc. Veritasium is always the winner or the loser of the day. What is with Veritasium? Man, it is wild. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video as well. That helps it get out to other people. It makes it look cooler and better with YouTube's algorithm. Helps me out a lot. Let's just say that. Anyway, links are in the description to my social media, my Twitch, my Twitter, my Steam, my Patreon, all that shilly stuff is down in there. I've officially stopped using any referral link as well. For the past few videos, I have removed Coinbase out of my referral links. Any other referral links, which I basically never used, I think there's maybe a couple in the past, are gone. No more referral links. We should all start to just remove these referral links. If somebody wants to sign up to Coinbase, go ahead, do it on your own. I don't need to profit from that. Not that I really ever did anyway. But anyway, all gone. So again, I do have my Patreon down there, which you could say is kind of a referral link. So even just $1, something like that, does help the channel as revenue is kind of going down, because you know, the 4 million views turned into 800 views. Whoops! Crypto bear market. Anyway, these links will be in the description below. I just have to say it again. The FBI questionnaire. Do it. You know, if you lost money in BitConnect, I did not. I never invested in a BitConnect, so I'm not going to do it. And again, for the Quadriga victims as well, this email down here apparently gets a hold of the legal team. And again, I don't know if there's going to be a fee for you to be represented or anything like that, but might as well make an inquiry on it. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as usual, I will see you guys next time.